Welcome to the Loud Whisper Reignite Your Voice podcast. This is your healing space, providing you with hope and inspiration as you become more connected to yourself. Your safe vessel, helping you move to a higher consciousness to reignite your voice and discover who you are destined to be really inside you. I am Isabel, your host. I am also an author, entrepreneur, and a life transformation and spiritual coach. Most importantly, I am a perpetual student of life, just like you. So let's explore together. Claim what is already inside you. Welcome to the Loud Whisper podcast. This is your healing space, and I am your host, Isabel Drawn. Thank you so much for being here with us today. You could be anywhere, but you decided to listen to the Loud Whisper podcast, and I'm forever grateful for that. If you could please subscribe and share with your friends and family. This is a space where we come and talk about everything humanity, authenticity, trauma, healing, best version of ourselves, or what other people are experiencing. So today I'm really excited because I have a special guest. As podcast people, we always say we have a special guest, but guys, for real, you know how you have a conversation with someone and you feel like you've known them forever? Like, she's the type of woman that I would go visit her because I know it would be good. Like, she is like a good girlfriend. So I'm really excited about her. So I'm not going to keep you guys long. Again, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to jump right in. You know what? I don't have any shame in my game. One thing I don't do, because being of African descent, a lot of people always mispronounce my last name, Mwachula. So I always give people the courtesy to tell me, how do you pronounce your first name?
Yeah, a lot of people get it wrong. You have no idea. It's Danitza. Think Don, eat, za. So Danitza.
Oh, I got it. Danitza. Yeah, so the Nitza is what we're stressing. Okay, Danitza. It's beautiful. So welcome to the Loud Whisper podcast. I'm so excited that you're here. And let me tell you guys about this amazing woman that we're about to have a conversation with. Danitza Borges is the founder and CEO of Elys, a legacy management platform that helps people preserve and share meaningful messages, memories, and personal content with loved ones. Her work is rooted in healing, forgiveness, and the belief that the words we leave behind can deeply impact the people we love. With a background spanning corrections, theology, human sexuality, counseling, writing, and public speaking, Danitza brings a deeply human perspective to conversations about legacy, connection, and what it means to live and to lead with intention. And you see why we love her here at Loud Whisper. So again, thank you so much for joining me today. How are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. I am so lucky. I'm good. I'm so good.
You're good. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You look amazing.
Thank you. You're very kind. Right back at you.
You look amazing, girlfriend. You look amazing. So as I said, we're just going to jump right in. I want to learn more about you. We want to hear about what you're doing. And also just to dive into what you and I have talked about, the identity, the self-abandonment. But before we get into that, tell us a little bit, how did you get here? So what is Elys? What is legacy and what is living? Can you tell us, what is it all about?
Well, I come from a very, very big place in regards to humanity. I believe how we connect with each other is extremely important. I think how we love each other, I think how we see each other is super important in our ability to love, our ability to connect, our ability to forgive people. I think that is our major prescription of being on this planet, is how we maneuver through our lifetime and the people we affect and the people that affect us, and not to make that common denominator hate or fear, but love, forgiveness, and compassion. So to tell you a little bit about Elys, I used to be in law enforcement. I used to work for the Department of Corrections, and I had a situation that occurred that could have cost me and another fellow female officer our lives. And we ended up, by the grace of God, getting out of the situation using our intellect, using our ability to rationalize, and using also our ability to just connect even with our fear. So we managed to leave the situation. And I remember after the adrenaline went down, oh my gosh, I have a 3-year-old son at home. If something would have happened to me, he would have known nothing about me. I have no family. It's just my son and I. And I thought, oh my gosh, where can I leave messages for my son and my little bit of family and friends that could get some type of message from me after I pass away, or if something would have happened. I couldn't find it. So I built it. And it took me 6 years to build it. I bootstrapped everything myself. And Elys is a place where you can leave messages for your loved ones, where it's video, photos, documentation, music, because we all connect with music, and it's stored up into the cloud, and you can set it for certain dates. And after you pass away, my company verifies the death certificate, and we start sending out your messages per your instructions. So imagine getting a happy birthday or a Merry Christmas from a parent or a sibling that you lost. How we leave people behind really, really matters to me. In the process of building Elys, I also came up with something called the Hot Button, which is an app for those what-if situations that happen in the moment, whether it be a domestic violence, whether it be a stalking, kidnapping, active shooter. I mean, we all read the headlines every single day. So it's an app. You download the app, you pick an emergency contact, you hit the hot button, and you leave a 1-minute message. Maybe you're getting into an Uber or Lyft. Maybe you're going out on a date from a dating app for the very first time. You don't know these people. We always want to believe that people have the best of intentions, but we all know that that's not always the case. So leave a 1-minute message. You make it to your destination, you make it home safely at night, just swipe left, cancel or suspend the message. If the phone is taken away from you, the message is stored in the cloud. So that message will still be released to your loved ones within 72 hours. If you're a child, it's released as soon as we get a police report. We start sending it out to news media, local law enforcement, so we can start to find you. Thank you.
That is so powerful. I don't know. Well, obviously, because this is what you do. There has been a lot of kids, a lot of children, especially young girls, going missing. And as you're explaining, I'm thinking to myself, like, can you imagine all the kids that have gone missing if we had this app? How easy it would have been to be able to find them, their loved ones to be able to find them. I just think it's extremely powerful. So is it active right now? Like, people can subscribe to it, download it, and utilize it?
Yes, it is. The hot button is active. The library is still in its final stages. We're doing the beta testing, but the hot button, which I thought was really important because of missing women. I'm very, very pro-female, and I know how my gender goes missing. So yes, you download it. To be honest with you, Isabel, it's so reasonable in price. It's $2.69 a month. We're giving away, yes. The whole point of this is to help humanity. It should never be normal for anyone to go missing, especially a woman to go missing. That is not normal thinking. And the safety infrastructures that exist are not meant for the before something happens. They're meant for after. The police reports, calling 911, court systems, that's all after the fact. We as women, we have to take preventative measures. The system is not built for us. And I come from law enforcement. I can tell you that the system is not built for us. So we have to take preventative measures. We as women, the matriarchs of our families, we have to sit our children, both male and female, because there's a lot of males who are going missing or being killed. And so we need to sit our children down as well as ourselves and say, this can happen. And I need you to leave a message. And I know this as teenagers, sometimes they don't want to tell their parents where they're going or who they're with. That's they're independent. Nothing's going to happen to them.
It's funny you say this is really not funny, but I told my 19-year-old, I was like, "Where's your location? Send me your location." He said, "It's too late. You should have asked me before 16."
Our kids they don't understand because they don't know what it's like to live in our era. And we don't really understand how to live in theirs because of the technology that's come about. But for
Yeah,
me, it's super important. Like your 19-year-old, here's the hot button. Like we are literally giving it away for free for a whole month so they can utilize it, they can test it out, and it's there. Think of it like the seatbelt in your car. At first, nobody wanted to wear the seatbelt. Nobody wanted to wear it. And then all of a sudden it became a law. I hope Elys becomes so overwhelming that everybody understands it's on their phone. So anybody who has the idea of hurting you, you say, hey, I have this happen. I've already videotaped your license plate or your pictures on my phone because we're dating, whatever it may be. We're at an event. I'm going out for a jog. Somebody knows my whereabouts. Somebody knows what I'm wearing. This was my route for today. Any information only helps the situation because once you go missing, that time frame is so short to try to locate you.
that is, I mean, everybody needs to have that. And I am praying and manifesting with you that it just explodes. It is going to explode because that's what's needed, right?
Thank you.
That's just really needed. And for that price point, come on now. That is cheaper than a than a 6 times Coke. You know what I mean? Like that is for that price point. But what I love about it is it's the thought process behind it. And for you being a former law enforcement, you understand these and you've seen these situations. We see it on TV and we're like, oh my God, or maybe our loved ones. But I know you have seen a lot of this, and coming from someone like you to be able to create something, I don't think we understand how powerful that is. Because as you were talking, I'm thinking to myself, have you ever found yourself in a situation, especially when you're a female? What do they say? When a woman walks out the door, like that's the most unsafe time of her life because, everybody's looking at her, like men are looking at her and all that. But what I'm saying is, have you ever found yourself just walking and you feel like somebody's following you?
I
So
think
can you
that's the
imagine?
gender,
Yeah.
right?
So can you imagine if you have that app? So even as I feel like someone's following me at that moment, I could be just that 2 seconds. I could be typing, putting in information in the Elys app. So if something happens to me, somebody will know. That's how powerful I feel that is. And kudos to you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. You don't even have to type it. As soon as you hit record, it is a video going.
Oh, so
So
you
you can
record it.
so you can actually talk to the situation. Would you like to hear something that happened to me?
Yes. Yes.
And I can't even make these stories up. This
Okay.
mind blowing. So
Yeah.
I went jogging. It's the middle of the day. It's not like it's late at night or early in the morning where it's dark, middle of the day. And I'm going jogging and I see a car come towards me. And as
Okay.
women, we're always kind of looking at our surroundings. And I had my
Yeah.
headphones on,
Hmm.
And the gentleman in the car is looking straight at me. Don't think anything of it. I
Yeah.
keep running. All of a sudden, I see the car pull up alongside me and pass me. So now this individual has made a U-turn. And my alert is, okay, it is now game on. Because you made a U-turn for a reason. I don't
Yeah.
think you're lost. And so all the bells have to go off. I own Elys Hot Button. This is what I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what do I do? I keep running and now the car is parked. Now I pull out my phone because my phone was in my short pocket. I
Sure.
hit this is how quick it happened. I hit the hot button. I start recording. As I get closer to the vehicle, uh, I get the license plate. As I pull alongside the car, the man is doing sexual things in his vehicle. He is doing
What?
sexual things in his vehicle. Yes. I can't make this up. I'm like, what the heck? I turn the camera and I videotape him. He freaks out. He freaks out.
Yeah.
He turns on his car really quick and he goes. When I get home, I'm literally like, this is, you picked the wrong woman. Okay.
Yeah.
This is what
You
I
picked the wrong
own.
one. Not today.
Not today.
Yeah,
Not
you
today.
picked the woman that's using an app to catch people like you. You picked the wrong woman, buddy.
A couple hours later, I get home and I'm in law enforcement. I call one of my friends and I said, "Hey, run this plate because obviously this guy's doing things." So it happens every day, all day
Every
long,
day, all day
every day,
long,
all day long.
everywhere too. Every day, all day long, and everywhere. And I honestly believe what I love about it, it will give women and young girls a voice.
Mhm.
I love that. It will. To
It
be able,
needs. We
go ahead.
need to. We have to be proactive.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh my goodness, that is so great. So I want to jump into something that you and I had discussed, and I just want to see how you feel about it. We talk a lot about the reason why I thought this was so profound, right? Before I do that, I do have a question. What does living a legacy life look like today? I said I was going to ask you that question because I thought that was pretty interesting.
You know, I believe a legacy life isn't about. I can tell you what it isn't first.
Okay.
It isn't all the followers you get. It isn't the hustle culture. It isn't the the bank account that you have. I mean, we all have to survive financially. Yes, I understand that. We all have bills. We all like pretty things and nicer things. I understand that. But at the end of the day, a rich legacy is how many people you loved, how many people loved you, how many acts of kindness that you just surprised yourself in doing. And how many surprises did you get in return? How many small moments in your day were just so impactful, so memorable, whether it be conversations, a compliment, a nice gesture from a complete stranger, a hug from your child that just felt a little bit more significant at that moment. Those are your legacy. Those are your moments. And if we can just continuously stack those up, I just hope at the end of my life that when I leave those messages to my loved ones that I leave behind, that they know how much they were loved and what they brought to my soul and what they brought to my heart and my
Yeah.
life.
I love that. When I was reading your bio and just reading everything that you're doing, and I asked myself, I said, wow, that's an extremely powerful question, right? Because in the world that we live in, like you said, we're doing the opposite of what you just explained legacy is. We're acquiring everything outside of ourselves. We're spending less time with the people we love. We're being less intentional. Although we say, I want to be loved, I want to show love, but we are not even present enough to know what it feels like to be loved anymore or to give love. And I've asked myself, what do you want your legacy to be? That I loved hard and I was present.
Yes. We're only here for such a small amount of time. If we really think about it, our lifespan is so small. You know, we spend so many hours sleeping, we spend so many hours doing, working, but our true moments, they're very small. A lifetime is not enough to love and to touch the people that meant the most to us. It's not enough. So you impact it. You consolidate as much as you possibly can. And then at the end of the night, I know I do this. I'm very grateful for my life. I'm extremely grateful because I know that there's other people who are hurting, other mothers who are hurting, that I am so grateful that those stressors have not influenced me in that capacity. And that makes us very blessed. But at the end of the night, I always ask myself, did I miss any opportunities that I could have been just a little nicer or a little kinder?
Or had some more compassion for other people and myself, right?
Right,
In the
right.
process. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow. Thank you for that. I want to talk to you a little bit about identity and self abandonment. This is something that is very dear to my heart. And even with Loud Whisper, it's all I talk about this a lot in Loud Whisper. So I would say we talk a lot about self abandonment, people quietly disappearing inside their own lives just to survive, to keep the peace, to be loved. Where do you see the pattern show up in how people think about what they will leave?
Now, when we did our beta testing, I found that a lot of people were leaving behind documents at first. They were looking at the will, they were looking at inheritance. And then I jumped on a call. We did a beta testing of 4,000 people. And I
Right.
ended up jumping on calls and I asked, what was your wife's favorite song? What is the song you danced to at your wedding? What was the moment you felt when you heard your son's first cry? Things that are so utterly important that we just kind of forget about because we think, oh, there's other things more pressing. And I realized as the conversation continued and the following days, it went from documents to music and videos. And I cannot tell you how beautiful the sound of somebody's voice is. Because when that voice is gone, the voice that said, I love you, you can do it, I'm here for you, giving you those pep talks, once those voices are gone, it's a huge loss. What we got back was, I wish I could hear their voice just one more time. Oh, did that resonate, Isabel?
Say that again.
Did that resonate with you?
Yeah, it did resonate with me. You had just cut off there in a minute at the end, so I was just waiting to hear. No, that honestly resonated because the reason why I asked that is I noticed that so many people, with what you're doing, it made me think deeper, right? With this whole legacy, with how we're living our lives. And the reason why I asked about the identity and the self abandonment is just trying to discover as to why is it that so many people, why do we disconnect from ourselves? Why are we, yeah.
I think, that's a very beautiful question. So thank you for asking it. I think we live in a society that is very goal driven. Like, when I get on the bestsellers list, when I have my first child, when I make the first million, when I do, when I do, when I do, when I do. And it's all beautiful, but it's not the goal we should be looking at. It should be the action to take that we took, the stepping outside of ourselves. That's what the measurement is, not the end result. It's,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, you did it. You took a thought and followed through. You became the person of action. And we need to celebrate not the end result, but the action. And the more I think we celebrate the action, the more we say, I am loved. I do love myself. And these were the people who were around me when I took this action. And I love them because they supported me and they loved me and they carried me while I was doubting myself, while I was crying because the result wasn't where I was going, where I was probably speaking negative self-talk. They were there. And that's the celebration, not the end result being on a list
Yeah.
or the
Yeah.
bank account.
Or their bank account. And that's the world that we live in now. And I always say we wonder why a lot of us are living anxious lives, yeah? Because every morning every day, the world that we're in, people are fighting for this end result. The performance is on another level. What's fascinating to me is as many end results as I see people get, they're not happy. There's no fulfillment. It's fascinating to me. And I'm like, and through the process, as you mentioned, it's extremely sad for me is the fact that we are really disconnecting from ourselves. And if we really would slow down and understand how powerful we are just as human beings and how much more. And also society has conditioned us to get to the end result so much that none of us want to be in the process. But the process that middle part, that's where growth happens. That's where self-awareness happens. As you're saying, that's where really being whole and discovering who you are happens. We're all trying to get to the end results. And now we have all this AI. I'm like, man, we don't even have to think anymore. Yeah. So I feel like the world keeps taking us more away from our humanity. And it's driving me insane. And I'm like, I feel as though we're all living a life of self-abandonment on a daily basis. And we're chipping away bit by bit by bit by bit. Our end goal is everything outside of ourselves. Our end goal is the titles. Our end goal is what we're going to look like, who's looking at us. It's so bad that even when we get to the end goal and achieve something, we don't even sit there long enough to celebrate because you know what? What's next? What's next? We live in a what's next. Everything is what's next. And so when you sit and have deep conversations, and I look at people and I'm like, gosh, we have really disconnected from ourselves. We have disconnected from our humanity to the point that we don't even trust our own humanity. We don't trust that power, that God-given power that we have. Everything is about what it's going to look like. Everything is about performance and the detriment that it's doing, not only to ourselves, but to our children, to our families, and just community in general. Oh, I can talk about it forever.
I'm going to throw some numbers at you because I am a nerd.
Yeah, please
I should
do.
tell you.
Please do.
So just the other day, the Surgeon General linked loneliness with being a major epidemic right now. I say this because he correlated it with loneliness as a chronic illness is just as deadly as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Now that should have been right. That's mind blowing. That should have been on every single headline, but it wasn't. It wasn't. They're saying anywhere between 810,000 people die of loneliness every year. That's now, we all see the ads, correct? For dieting, GLP-1, that sits lower than loneliness. So loneliness surpassed obesity. This just happened within the last couple of months. I don't want to misquote. If that's the case, and we correlate AI is only going to keep us much more isolated because people are going to jump on Claude, Gemini, Copilot, than to go and talk to someone.
I mean, it's happening now. People are saying that they're actually talking to Claude or that chat box, for therapy, for advice. And I just watched a thing. It was a clip, actually. I didn't watch the whole thing. Oprah had some lady on there, and she said that the bot was responding to her like, I'll take you here. I'll make you become your highest self and all this stuff. And the reason why I feel people are gravitating to that because it just didn't happen today. It's been going on for so long that we keep disconnecting from ourselves. So anything other than ourselves feels good or feels like, oh, this is what it is, and it just gets worse by the day. It's so unfortunate.
I think what also happens is that these bots, these AIs make you feel seen. They make you feel important. And so that, that quick adrenaline rush of I'm seen, it gets me, it gets me. But I don't want people to fail to understand that the AI is an it. It's not a human entity. It's an it. It's not a human entity. It can't give you a hug. It can't cry with you. It can't do so many of the humanitarian things that another human can be. It is, I look at AI as something to help you with your tasks, maybe a little faster. But if you're connecting with AI and you're spending hours, not minutes, hours, thinking that that is more as a conversation companion, we have a problem. Because you're not engaging with another human being. You're engaging
And what's
with
sad though, the
technology.
world has made it. What's sad about this is that the world has made it okay. The world has made it okay. I'm just a listen. I'm a believer that our internal, what God has given us, is more powerful than anything any human can create. I believe that to my core. And I believe if we tap into what God has given us, it's more powerful than any human can create. Now, we're talking about that AI is here, but even before AI getting here, we were already losing ourselves. We're already abandoning ourselves. It's this idea that my life will be better if something from the outside fulfills it. And I think it gets worse by the day. It gets worse with social media. And yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. I think social media, again, I was talking to another friend of mine, actually, it was a colleague of mine, and we have really lost our inability to filter social media. When you have people who are constantly throwing money on the next best, this is the next best marketing tactic. This is the next, getting rid of wrinkles tactic. This is the next best, whatever tactic it is. Because we see it all the time, right? We see it all the time.
Boy, they try to fix us. I call it editing. Man, every day we have to edit this. And we wonder why we're going crazy. Getting older is an issue. Remove those wrinkles. Your face shouldn't look that way. But whatever happened to the scars, to the wrinkles that created the beauty in the woman? I mean, if you go on TikTok, you have all these influencers. It's crazy that we're talking about this today. I thought this to myself last night. I said, oh my God, they keep telling us to edit ourselves. There is nothing natural about a woman that the world wants to receive. Everything that's natural about a woman, the world is telling us edit it. It's not good enough. It's not. The older you get, remove that. You need to look younger. When you're younger, you need to do this. And we're buying this stuff and we're falling for it. Here is the truth. When we fall into these things, we're not being authentic with ourselves. We're not being whole with ourselves. We're not being, including myself, because I fall for these things, right? So I have to check myself from time to time. And then you wonder why women spend years editing themselves. One year we're told our butt needs to look this way. Next year our breast needs to look this way. Our eyes need to look that way. You can't. I mean, you can't get right. We just cannot get right, and it's unfortunate. I mean, really, it's unfortunate that that's not the life that we live.
I was, I was telling one of my good friends, again, I'm like, that's last year's butt. That was in last year. It's good. That's last year's butt. Okay. The wrinkles
Yes.
are this year's 2026.
Yeah.
The forehead is something else. Who knows? But there comes a time that we, as people, but what you speak is truth. It's very generated towards females, that we just have to say, is it okay that I don't fall into these trends? It is okay. Is it okay that there are some people that we're going to fall into it, and bless their heart. Bless their heart. If it works for them, no judge zone here. But it's not for me. I have honestly enjoyed getting older. I would not go back to my 20s in this era to save my life. I love the scars. It's what builds me. I love the good, bad, the ugly, and everything in between. And I have to give you a compliment, such a major, major compliment. When I saw the name of your podcast, Loud Whisper, it really resonated with me. It really resonated with me because when we whisper, it's something so personal. Most people think a whisper is like a secret, like you're whispering in someone's ear, but it's something so personal. It's kind of like in Europe, they say keeping stones, like keeping secrets. You keep your stones, and the best secrets are kept within ourselves. And so when I thought of Loud Whisper, I thought these whispers that I keep so personal to me, some of them good, something bad, are so loud in my psyche and in my heart because they are what build me. They are what build me. These secrets that I may never want to admit to an outsider because they were either painful for me or maybe, I'm not the perfect person. And these are the whispers that seem to always that we always hang on to. And they speak so loudly of our character. So again, thank you. I really love the name of your podcast.
All right, you're the first podcaster that's actually going to make me cry because that means a whole lot to me.
No, I don't want to make you cry.
I mean, and I'm crying tears of joy because you get it. You get what I've been trying to say. You get it. It's those whispers. It's that voice inside of you, that a lot of us, we keep ignoring. A lot of us, we keep suppressing. And for me, it was years of living without. You hear them. We hear them every day. But we have been conditioned to suppress and ignore our truth. And that whisper, like you said, like you say in Europe, they say they're stones. They're things for yourself. And it's so powerful that you say that. I even started something called whisper walks. So what I do is like on a Saturday, we go on a 2 to 5 mile walk and the women are not allowed to talk to one another. We're just walking in the community. And the reason why I'm doing this is for the simple fact is, oh my God, you're going to make me cry. We don't take the time. We don't take the time to listen to ourselves. And we just keep moving, we keep going, we keep living this life that's outside of who God created us to be. And it's deep for me and tears are coming up because when somebody really understands what Loud Whisper is, it means so much because it came straight from God, right? To be able to help. I know, right? I'm like, you're the first podcast to make me cry. For women to really able to hear that still voice inside of you. For me, I say that's where God speaks the loudest. But we've been conditioned to ignore that voice from the time we were little girls. And that's why I try my best to make women understand. Listen to that voice. That's you. That's the truth of who you are. Good, bad, or indifferent. But that is you. Own it. Be with it. And if we took the time to listen to our voices, man, our lives will be so much better. We'll live a more healthier, happier life than what a lot of women do. Because a lot of women are suffering.
Yes.
A lot of women are suffering, and not only suffering because of what the world has us doing. A lot of women are suffering because the world has ripped us of our birthright, knowing who God created us to be and the power that we have within us. And I always say, if we could just slow down enough, I had to slow down to hear that whisper that allowed me to start first knowing myself again, trusting myself again, liking myself again, and loving even the broken parts.
Those are the best parts. Those are the best.
Those are the best parts, girlfriend.
those are the best parts. I tell everybody all the time. I said, you have no idea the broken parts. The broken parts are what really is the parts that you love about me. You just don't know it yet.
I like that. The broken
It's true.
parts are the parts that people love, but they just don't know it yet. I so love that because for the longest, yeah, me and I tell you, probably a whole lot of women, we are ashamed of our broken parts. And yet, our broken parts, like you said, is the best part of who we are. But if we
It
sit
really is.
down long enough to listen to ourselves, we can understand that our broken parts, that story that you're denying yourself, that is the best part of who you are. So thank you. Thank you for seeing that, and thank you for seeing me, and thank you for acknowledging our story.
It's obvious. How can it not be? I tell people all the time, I have this tremendous faith in in what created me. I have this tremendous faith because I've had some major trauma in my life, ups and downs, but I have this tremendous faith that I have this belief system that after I pass away, that I'm at the pearly gates of God, and he said, "Thank you for taking the time to listen. And I told you to build it. Thank you for listening and building this and then trusting me." Because I don't, in, in my heart, I believe if we are made in God's image or whatever entity or deity you believe in, if we are made in that image, then we cannot possibly fail. Because that's not a concept. You don't put your children on a planet and want them to fail. No, you want them all to succeed. So there's nothing I can do that it's going to fail. We're all going to succeed. And my job is to make sure that other people succeed with me. There's no competition here.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. I love it. And my job is, as God has told me, to make sure that I can get as many women as I can to amplify and use their voices, because that's the truth of who they are. That's, we call it your GPS. And that's
Yes.
important. It directs you. You know how we always say, the world says, oh, that's what gut feeling knows, sweetheart. That's not your gut feeling. That's your intuition. That's your voice. That's God, whoever you subscribe to, speaking to you the loudest. But I honestly appreciate what you said, because it's real, and I love that you say, when I get to the pearly gates, I'm a deep thinker. So I'm going to take that and really think about it and dive deeper into my purpose. So what will God say to me when I get to that? So thank you for sharing that with me. Thank you for sharing that with me. Okay, so the masks we wear.
Yes.
Ah,
Yes. Ah, here it comes.
here it comes. The masks we wear. So many people are carrying an identity they inherited. And I say we all have an inherited identity. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad identity. But I don't think we stop to think, this identity that I have inherited, either from my family, environment, or wherever, we never stop to think, does it still serve the purpose that God has on my life? Is it going to take me to the next level? So whether you inherit from your family, culture, or whoever you had to become to survive, what happens when someone finally decides to be something true instead of something more? My question to you is, yeah, that's it. What happens? I guess. So essentially what I'm saying to you is, we carry this identity. A lot of us are wearing masks. Let's talk about this mask. Let's talk about, I always say I no longer wear the mask. I don't subscribe to society's expectations of who I need to be, especially the strong woman mask. I lived it. It left me broken. It left me ashamed to ask for help. I lived more in my broken parts instead of using my broken parts to get to the next level. That mask had me hidden. Talk to us about the mask. What do you think about that? Did you have a time in your life where you were wearing the mask and you had to remove it? in order for you to become who you are today?
You know, that is a that is a very gut-wrenching question for someone like me. I come from a past of sexual abuse in my family. And so the mask I chose to wear, it was a choice. The mask I chose to wear was the mask of I can beat this. No one needs to know.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I can beat this. No one needs to know. Um, and if people do find out, it's going to be very interesting, their response. And to this very day, that is the truth. The response of a sexual molestation is it varies, and it's way across the board. You may expect a certain reaction and you get a completely
And you don't
different
get
one,
it.
or you don't get
Yeah.
one at all. And I realized that the mask that I was wearing was, if I hid it enough, you couldn't see it. You couldn't see it. And so, in
That's me.
respect,
That was me.
okay, right? If you hide it enough, you can't see it. And in that moment, I realized that I was lying to myself, that I was not being true to myself, because again, that was part of my cracks. That was part of my beauty. And realizing that one of the ways that I healed was to compartmentalize the pain. So it was always over there and not here. It was outside of me, because if I harbored the pain here, when I needed to be on, or when I needed to go to school and study, I couldn't draw on the here because it was so impactful. So I had to put it somewhere, because not everybody has the bandwidth to deal with your pain. In fact, most people don't. They have pain of their own. They have life of their own. They have things that are going on with their family and friends and work, and they don't have the bandwidth. So when you take that mask off, I always say, if I'm ever in a dating situation, I cannot tell you how many times I've been Googled, because I am such an open book. I'm such an open book that when you Google me, we live in a world now where you're just out there. You can't keep a secret if you wanted to.
You can't keep a secret anymore.
Right? Because people can Google you, and people will take the parts to affirm whatever suspicion they want. So if they want to think bad of me, they're going to take that piece and run with it. If they want to think I'm the next best thing next to apple pie, they're going to run with that portion. And if you're that type of person, then you're missing the completeness. Because the mask that I wore for years had to be chiseled off my face. It wasn't just, oh, let me just take it off. It was years and layers of putting that mask on. Layers. And when I finally learned to love myself and appreciate the good, bad, and ugly of all of it, and I took the mask off, not everybody liked what was behind it.
No, they don't. Yeah. They don't like what's behind it because they don't get to manipulate you. You're not the same person that they used to seeing, You're not the same victim. I don't know. When I had my mask on and I was out performing, I thought I was it. But when I started working on myself, I realized that I showed up in so many situations, relationships, not just like romantic relationships, even platonic relationships, as a victim, you know? So then people enjoyed me as a victim. But when I removed my mask, they didn't appreciate that, because then they're like, okay, she's not accepting this. What you said was so profound. You said you had to chisel That's extremely powerful. That is extremely powerful. And I tell you something, there's a woman listening to you right now that's actually in that situation and she's asking herself, yeah, because we know what it feels like. At least I know, and I know you know, wearing the mask, what it feels like to be stuck, what it feels like to live behind the mask. We get so, as you mentioned, we get so good at showing up, so good at performing. I used to tell people that I was one of the best performers. When I walk out the door and you see me walking, you wouldn't be like, no, this girl doesn't have trauma. She doesn't have no issues or whatever. Because I knew, yeah, that was my survival mechanism, the performance part, to show up a certain way so people don't know what happened to me. So people don't see that even as I'm sitting here talking to you, I used to think that way, that, oh, I have to make sure that people don't know that I'm really hurting inside. So I know you said you had to compartmentalize differently. Walk us a little bit. You don't have to get too personal, but I know there's several women listening out there right now in that situation, not even understanding, first of all, that they're wearing a mask. They're just thinking, this is how my life is, and this is who I am. I'm not valuable. I don't have self-worth. I'm not good enough. And that story, they keep telling themselves that story that keeps confirming to them exactly how they're feeling, and not understanding that it's the mask that they need to remove, that inherited identity that they need to remove, right? It's the either abuse, the neglect, not feeling worthy that they need to remove. But it's easier said than done. So what would you say to that woman?
Now, we all heal in different stages. Each and every one of us heals in different stages. And we show up in ways that should always surprise us. So I say, the mask doesn't come off all at once. It doesn't. It'd be nice to think it
No, it
just rips
doesn't.
off. It doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't rip off like a band-aid.
I
It
love that
does.
you say that. I love that honesty. It really doesn't. And sometimes the piece comes off and it comes right back on, depending on what
You're
someone
like this.
triggers about you.
You're like this. Ooh, please patch it back on.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
but
go ahead.
you made me laugh. No, but I do think that once you get one little chip and you allow yourself to be seen, and it can be for a minuscule time. Maybe it's just going to the gym and wearing what you want to wear. And if you want to go in full makeup, you go in full makeup. If you don't want to go in full makeup, you don't. But allowing yourself just to resonate, to be in your aura, to be in your space, just to allow yourself, give yourself permission. Wake up in the morning and say, okay, I love everyone else, but that love is only 90% if I can't love me at 100. If I can't love me at 100, I cannot love anybody else, not even my children, at 100%. And so how am I going to show up today? What permissions am I going to give myself to allow myself one chisel, to allow myself one act of kindness, to allow myself to get back to who I want to be, who I'm supposed to be? Not what everybody else thinks I'm supposed to be, but what I feel I'm supposed to be. What does she look like? And write those things down. And if we're supposed to be this way, then take action to do one little thing to get closer to what that visual is. What does she look like? Who does God want me to be in this short amount of time? And how am I getting one step closer?
It's one step at a time. It's not easy.
No.
It's not easy at all. You getting to that decision is not easy. As you were speaking, I thought to myself, it's so interesting how we all know who we are. We've just been suffocated. We've been suffocated.
When I was raised by a woman, my grandmother, who was extremely intelligent for having an eighth grade education, financially successful in that realm, pretty successful. But in the component of very strict pro male, because that was her generation, being very pro male, and how it resonated throughout my family from generation to generation in decades. And you ask yourself, am I a product of the bits and pieces that I got from my cultural upbringing, whether it be from my family, my education, my friendships? Every one of your decisions came from some type of survival or pain or lack of suffering or things of that nature, especially as we got older. And then we become adults and we think that we're just supposed to have this in our system. We're just supposed to carry this weight. Where the best thing you could possibly do, and I say this to all my friends who have 20-year-olds, including my child, my son, is ask yourself on a daily, while you're in your 20s, does this move me forward or hinder me in some capacity in my way of thinking at the moment? Whether it be a bias, whether it be a prejudice, whether it be a way of thinking, a viewpoint. Is this hindering me? Not what society thinks is hindering me, but me as a person. Can I sleep better tonight if I address these issues? What can I correct about self that somewhere along the line I gravitated to this or it was instilled in me? And how do I change it?
Yeah. Because it starts with you. Only you can change it. And as you were explaining, right, we get all these identities. It's really asking those powerful questions. I keep telling myself when something happens, because I feel that a lot of us are still living the blueprint that we were given from the time we were young. We're living this blueprint that the other generation lived. And we just keep going and keep doing the same thing, but things have changed. But what I see a lot with the women that I work with, even with my own self, I had to demolish that. I had to really stop and say, from my environment, from my culture, from my family, or whatever, from my work, from my education, what is serving? Because everything else became too heavy. Because what I found myself doing, I'm a recovering people pleaser already. Natural recovering people pleaser, girl. I'm a people pleaser. I am detoxing from it. I'm a recovering people pleaser. But what even made it worse is that I kept on this appearance that fit, right? My inherited identity, either from work, school, or just like you're saying. And I think what a lot of us don't understand, especially women, these masks that we're wearing, all this stuff that it's weighing us down. It's not allowing us to discover our truth. It's not allowing us to take a chance on yourself. The only way this starts to work is like what you're saying. It's one step at a time, one thing at a time. And trust me, when you do it, it's going to feel different. It's going to look different because you've never done it before, right? But it's for us to just take the time to say, it was a lot. I'm just thinking about just like the way you're saying now. I said it was a lot because I think about the people that I've lost because I found my identity.
You will lose people. Hands down. I can't even tell you how many people I've lost. I can't even tell you. Not everybody is meant to take off with you. There are some people who are never supposed to leave the ground. They're great on the ground, but they're not meant to, go into outer space with you. Each person may have their own season with you. That doesn't make them a bad person. It just means they weren't ready to go full throttle with you. I love the way you you use blueprint I resonate with that immensely. I had to give up. Do you remember the old IBM computers? They were rows and rows and rows of computers. I'm the smart version.
That little
Right. I used to be those rows of computers, keeping all the anger, holding all the grudges, never giving forgiveness, reliving bad things in my head all the time. I was those rows of IBMs, and I needed a renovation, like you would renovate a house. And now I am the smart Alexa version, and I could care less.
that.
Yeah. I don't care anything about that anymore. And to what you were stating about you lose people, yes. and I don't want you to see it as a loss. I want you to see it as a gain. Because when you lose people, if this podcast, if any of the women learn anything today by what I said, I really want this to resonate with them. A person who's really in your corner, a person who is your ride or die, has always the best interest, your best interest at hand. Always. There are maybe 2 or 3 very amazing women in my life that are my ride or dies. And I knew that immediately. They are the ones who can tell me, no, you're messing up, but would never speak foul of me. Ever. They are the women who will pat me on the back and say, you really messed up on this one, Danitza, but I got you. They're the ones that you can call at 3 o'clock in the morning, boo-hooing your eyes out and say, let me fix your crown. I got you. Those. But there are others, and I'm not saying just women, men and women, who will say they are your ride or die, but their actions don't align with it. In fact, their words and their character will destroy you. So the more you hang on to them, and that doesn't make them bad people. It just makes them very wrong people for you. Maybe they're good in another arena, but in your space, not good for you. You have to celebrate letting them go. You don't know your worth so well, know who you are from head to toe on what you allow in your life. I'll give you an example. If you walk into a fish store and you leave, most of the time you're going to smell like fish. If you walk into a perfumery and everybody's spritzing, you're going to more than likely smell like perfume, correct? If you are around friendships that are negative or speaking ill of you or degrade you, what do you think you're going to leave with? Your environment is priceless. It should be pristine. Things latch onto you that are not supposed to. And you, as a full, centered, valuable person, have to say, that is not good for me. I have to let that go. That will attach to me and never, ever let me reach my maximum potential. Ever. And it hurts. Sometimes it hurts so bad. You will cry. It will have you on your knees crying. Been there, done it. Been there, done it. Many times. Well, not many, but enough. Enough that it feels like many.
Enough. Yeah, enough that it feels like many, enough that it taught me we're not doing this thing no more. We're not doing that. And oh my God, this is so powerful what you're talking about. And everything that you're saying, that was me. As you're speaking, I feel I'm looking at myself in the mirror. What woke me up the most was that even as you're going through this phase and checking the people in your circle, or even saying these people are not my friends, or these family are not the right people for me. I also had to check myself to see how I was participating in how they were treating me. You know what I found out? Actually, God showed me this. Because of my trauma, I didn't realize for many years I had a victim mentality. For many years I had a victim mentality. So I would go into these spaces, relationships with this victim mentality, and that's exactly how they treated me. So when I sit back and I think about the conversations about how I was treated, things that they said to me, and if I didn't show up this way, this is the kind of response that I'll get. I had to be in line with what they want me to do, how I want to show up. And you know what pisses me off the most and more? Think about it. I was like, girl, you were walking around with victim mentality so much that people used to be like, oh, poor Isabel. Poor is, she went through this and this. Oh, poor Bella. Oh, she went through this and this. I had to check myself too. I had to check myself.
You didn't want to be poor Isabel. You didn't want to be poor Isabel.
No. No.
I had a similar situation.
Because I hadn't started healing, that fed my soul, that fed my pain, that fed my unworthiness, that fed, oh my God, somebody's seeing me that I'm not feeling good enough, or somebody's seeing me that I've been through pain. But I realized we all want to be seen, but you better make sure how you're being seen.
Yes, 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 yes.
We all want to be seen and validated, but make sure as to how you're being seen and validated. You need to check that, because people have different motives. And what I realized was, girlfriend, we got to get out of that victim mentality, because that's why you're always looking around and saying, they did this to me. She said this about me. He did this to me. He said this about me. Granted, that's true, but how are you showing up?
You have to take responsibility. There is a level of responsibility. Every choice you make to stay in or get out of, it's still your choice. So I'll give you an example. I remembered this was rather within the last year, literally on a flight, coming back home from visiting someone that I thought would have been a very significant part of my life. And at one moment, I'm looking out onto the tarmac, and I said, okay, this was my decision to put myself into this mess. God, give me the strength and show me that this is not good for me. Show me in a way that I don't regress back to old habits, but that I stand strong in my convictions. And by the time I landed, that relationship was over. In my head, that relationship was over. Because that whole flight, I wrote down on a piece of paper what Dr. Danitza Borges, an educated woman, would tolerate. And I wrote down good and bads on this individual. And I thought, my, I've sold my soul for this. I have sold my soul. And I'm selling it because that young, little, damaged Danitza, little girl, thinks that is all she can get.
Yeah.
Shame on you. Shame on you.
Yeah.
And then I took that paper. And I hung it on my wall. For 30 days, I hung it on my wall, and I did the good cries, but it was over. And it was over. And there are so many ways I don't care if you have to look at that mirror every day and say to yourself, I am beautiful, I am strong, I am worthy. If that's what it takes, if it's affirmations, if it's being at the gym for 3 hours to get it out of your system, if it's yelling, screaming, eating the gallon of ice cream, do what it takes. You are that
I
strong.
love that. Do what it takes. Yeah. Yeah.
Because coming out that
Do
other
what it
side,
takes.
whew, you will celebrate her. You will celebrate her. I will, so much so that when my closest of friends, my do or dies, who I can't, how did I get so lucky to have these women in my life? Literally threw me a thank God you're not dating this person party. They literally, oh my God. I got to
I
one of their,
love it.
there was cake, there was balloons, there was music. I'm like, what are we celebrating? They're like, thank God you're not dating that person party.
Oh my God, that is hilarious. I love that. Now those are ride or dies. They want to
Right?
see you do well, be well, live well, and just
You're
be
invited
your
to the
best
next
self.
party.
The next party, I'm coming. Oh my goodness, I love it. Listen, as I said in the beginning, I could talk to you forever, and I'm actually going to ask if we could have another podcast and talk some more because it's not just what you know, it's your energy, it's your spirit.
Oh, thank you.
Listen, keep being you because the world needs more women like you. And I'm not just saying it just to say, I mean this from my heart.
Oh,
Keep being you. Your light is so bright. The world needs what you're doing with Elys. It will save so many women.
yes.
And yeah. I am rooting for you. Whatever you have, whatever information you send it to me.
I will.
And what I'm going to say is before I let you close this out, you mentioned something about when you told that story just now, and you said it was that little girl inside of me. Yeah. So to every woman who's listening today, get that little girl out of your driver's seat. She should not be running your life anymore. Put her on the passenger side, put a seatbelt on,
Yes.
nurture her, love her, tell her you love her, okay? Tell her it's going to be okay. Whatever love and compassion that you give to everybody else in this world, take that and give it to that little girl inside of you so you can help her heal. Because, like our amazing Dr. Danitza just said, the other side is full of joy, peace, wholeness, happiness. We don't see perfection because there's no perfection in this world. Nothing. I always say there's nothing that God created. Nothing. I don't know why the world we see perfection. But nurture that little girl. You can do it. Love on her. The affirmations, whatever it takes, even the bucket of ice cream, like she said, do whatever it takes for you to get on your healing journey. You will not regret it. Now, before I close out, I will leave the floor to you. Once this podcast comes out, I will please make sure that you tell us all your social handles, but I'll put it on all platforms and make sure that I share it with everyone. But before we log off today, I'm going to leave you the floor for you to say whatever your heart feels to our audience today.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity to spend an amazing time with you. I cherish the communication and I cherish the connection and I cherish the camaraderie. I don't just try to get on every podcast. I try to get on podcasts that resonate with my essence. So thank you. Again, I am extremely humbled and very, very privileged. If I have to leave with one thought, is that this world will beat you down. Okay? This world will tell you everything that is wrong with you. You know, we see it on social media. We see it on the platforms. We see it on TV. We hear it from sometimes family and friends. Everything that is wrong with you. But I want you to remember. I want you to remember the first time someone gave you a compliment when you were in grade school, or your mother or father or both said the most warmest "I love you," or you won a game in some type of sporting event, and that feeling of being seen, that feeling of being loved, that's where it all lives. It's that feeling of being loved, that feeling of being seen. Anything else outside of that is just the icing on the cake. But I want you to remember, you're always the cake. You have the most amazing ingredients from childhood, from friendships. I want you to remember every person who ever said, "I love you," and every person who meant it, or you felt something completely different. Every time you tap into that hurt or that pain, it's okay to feel it, but you put it over there and you turn around and say, "But gosh, this person really knows me and really loves me. And because of A, B, C, and D, I'm so much the better person for it. Yes, I'm going to experience everything life can throw at me, but these people over here helped mold you to throw it right back. And don't ever forget to throw it back." Always love.
Always love. We're going to
Always.
do this again. Tell us our social handles really quick.
Okay.
Your social handle. Where can they find you? And
Well,
please make sure you tell us where we can get the app, the Elys app, where we can download it, and all that good stuff. Could you please share
I
that
will.
with us?
I will definitely send it to Isabel. The Elys Hotman app. We are giving it away for free for the first month, so you can utilize it. Please take it. You just never know. If you're catching a flight, Uber. I mean, the situations are endless. So I'll make sure that Isabel has that. And I'm on Instagram and on TikTok under Elys, ELYS_legacy. You can also find me on LinkedIn. I'm under Dr. Danitza Borges. You can Google me. Many people do. And I'm available. I am available. And so my email is danitza.r.borges@gmail.com if you want to reach out. I answer every email. I know there's some people who don't. I'm not a celebrity. I will answer you. I will do whatever it takes to help you. Give me a few days, but I am accessible. So those are the ways to reach out to me.
Thank you, my dear. From my heart to yours here at Loud Whisper. Thank you so much. You've made a profound difference in my life today. You say things that have shifted something in my life today, and I hope it shifts something in my audience. I know it will. As I mentioned, this is not going to be the last time we will have this conversation. I'd like to learn more, and follow with you and just get a little bit deeper. I don't know how much deeper because we really were deep today, but we're deep people. But yeah, and just continue the conversation. So from my heart to yours, thank you, sis. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Right back at you. Tribe sister. Remember, tribe sister.
Yes. Bye-bye.